Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another indie review, and in this indie review I'll be covering Assassin's Apprentice, Volume 2, Issue 1, and Rogue Sun, Issue 17. And I must admit, I'm really looking forward to actually reading more of Rogue Sun, but in regards to Assassin's Apprentice, I really hope things are highly improved in the story, or improve a little bit more in the story compared to what they were in the first volume. So I'll now get things organized for the first one that I'll be covering. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as we move into the beginning of the story, we start to get a little bit of a narration from the character himself as Fitz in this particular volume, and whilst this is occurring, we still see him basically under the person who's teaching him or instructing him to basically on his way to become an assassin. If I were to put down one thing, it feels like that this area of the story is really dragging compared to the first volume as well as the second, being this one. So moving into around the middle, we see him moving out or moving to another place, chatting up with some other people, but also getting to know a little bit more around his own environment, just like what happened in the first one. But in the first one it was early stages, so this is sort of like the next stage. And last but not least, he meets someone who has an animal that comes to him for a bit of help, because in the first issue he showed that he had, I guess, a supernatural or paranormal type ability to work with animals. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First, do we get anything addressing the area of time when it takes place? No. Next is the area of location. Actually, I must admit, in this I felt like I got a little bit more location-wise, especially with the narration. We had Buckkeep Town and a place called Watch Island, and that's where that sort of helped a bit. Next is the cast of characters. We had Fitz, Verity, Lord Kalia, we had Ripon, Ripon with some crazy surname, and I think the last one is Chloe or Chade. For the overall story rating for this, I give a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Rogue Sun. So, as we jump into Rogue Sun, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Not completely, as I thought the person on the cover here reminded me a little bit more like Ori than Dylan. I think they could have fixed up the cover a little bit more in this. And in this one, we do actually get something quite interesting within the story, compared to who's presently being in control of the Sunstone. Now we sort of have a ultimatum to bring someone back in charge of the Sunstone. So for the overall rating for the cover, we get I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we are in this basically the Sunstone Plane, and whilst we're here, we of course end up catching up with Dylan, his grandfather, and also his father. in the Sunstone as they work to basically regaining control of what is presently happening with present-day Dylan, who's been taken over by one of the members in the Sunstone. So whilst this is occurring, we have other things that are happening outside of the Sunstone suit and in the main area. I believe we're in Oregon, if I remember correctly. But it's not very clear as to where this is or if this is taking place somewhere else as well. This could actually be improved, but does it take away from the fun of the story? I'll let you know when I get to the story rating. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we return back to the Sunstone plane, or the Sunstone realm, and things begin to change in favor for Dylan and his father in regards to what is happening in the story. So, for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. Considering how far we are comic issue-wise, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues? No, we didn't. Did we get anything in the area of time? No, we didn't. Next is the location. Of course, we've got the Sunstone realm or plane, and also the Bell Estate. So, whilst Dylan Bell and his father and grandfather are trying to regain control of the Sunstone within the Sunstone plane, we have the members of the Bell family, of course, doing their part to try to make do with what's happening. Next, we have the cast of characters consisting of Owen, Dylan, Rogue's son Marcus, we have Caleb and Moon. Oh, I forget the name, but no, Morning Star, as like mourning for someone's death. That's what it is. For the overall story rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.